We will continue where we left in the other class. Uh, I'm sharing my screen now. So last time, if you remember, we were talking about implied demand uncertainty. And the idea was that why we were talking about implied demand uncertainty is because we want to understand uh, the step one, that is understanding customer and supply chain uncertainty. It is what we wanted to. That's why we wanted to talk about implied demand uncertainty. And the factors which affect implied demand uncertainty are, you can say, lot size, response time, service level, product variety, price, and innovation. So largely these are the factors which affect implied demand uncertainty. So I'll ask few questions, like if we reduce the lot size, that means if in the supply chain the players are ordering in smaller lots, the implied demand uncertainty will increase or decrease? Yes, anyone? So we see that lots with lot size, if your lot size is small, then uh, implied demand uncertainty means that the demand for which you are prepared for, or the variation in the demand for which you are prepared for. So if your lot size is small, then at times you will not be in a position to cater to the higher demands. So you can say implied demand uncertainty increases. If we talk about response time, if response time is short, I think we talked about it other day also, that you get less time to respond, and your implied demand uncertainty is increased because of that. If your service level required is high, that means the tolerance for shortages is low. I mean, if your service level is high, that means tolerance for shortages is low. Then that means that your implied demand uncertainty is going to increase. And similarly, is the if the product variety is high, then if the product variety is high, you will have to focus on more on each of those different type of items, and then your implied demand uncertainty will be high. If the price fluctuates a lot, then your implied demand uncertainty will fluctuate accordingly. So, and the rate of innovation is high. What are the kind of products which exhibit high rate of innovation? Mostly we see nowadays in electronic products, we see high rate of innovation. So implied demand uncertainty is going to be higher in this case. Okay. Then step two is understanding. Sorry. Step two, understanding the supply chain capabilities. So understanding supply chain capabilities simply means that if you are planning, I'm going to go on moon, okay, but do you have those means of going to the moon? Or you say I'm going to crack IES exam with the rank number one, so how much time do you have? Say in 1 year I'm going to do that. So first you should assess your capabilities, whether you have that or not. So similarly happens with the supply chain as well. You promise lead times of 1 day and then you are delivering in 10 days. I'll give you an example of Geo, which I had. So I had ordered something from GeoMart on 10th of September, and it was promising a delivery by 13th September. I did not get that delivery. I saw in the app. Oh, you should have told me. I was on mute. Anyway, so I was talking about step two, which is supply chain capabilities. And I was giving an example of Reliance Geo, GeoMart. They have an application. So I ordered something on 10th, and it was supposed to be delivered on 13th. I did not get it on 13th. I did not get it on 16th. Again, the date was revised for 19th. I did not get it on 19th. Now the date is revised for 21st. Let's see. Today is the date where I should get it, but I am not having high hopes for that either. So they did not understand their supply chain capability while they were giving discounts. So on 9th or 10th, I think they had given in newspaper that they are offering sugar at 10 rupees per kg and the onions at 5 rupees per kg. Also, there are no shipping charges. So I'm sure that they must have got huge number of orders. Now, once they get these huge number of orders, they are not able to satisfy it. So the whole thing is that they did not plan for this kind of response, and their supply chain capability they did not understand properly. They did not have that had that level of responsiveness. So we can see here that that's how you should, while you're making a supply chain strategy, the first thing is your understand the implied demand uncertainty. The second is understand the supply chain capabilities. So why can't they be responsive all the time? Why can't they hire 100 people on a given day and then deliver everything in 1 day, and now the order has got late by 10 days? So why can't they do that? For the simple reason that there's a cost associated with responsiveness. So cost and responsiveness go hand in hand. So higher is the cost, higher is the responsiveness which is required, higher will be the cost. If you want it to be delivered on the same day, you may have to pay extra. And then there is another paradigm which is supply chain efficiency. One is supply chain responsiveness, another is supply chain efficiency. Supply chain efficiency indicates that the cost of making and delivering the product to the customer. So the lesser is the cost of making and delivering to the customer, more efficient will be the supply chain. That's how we say that. So responsiveness and efficiency are opposite to each other. If you increase if you increase your required level of efficiency, then your responsiveness level comes down. So we can sketch it somewhat like this. So this is your responsiveness. So it represents high and this represents low. And similarly, we have efficiency, somewhat we can make a frontier. So this is high efficiency, because with low responsiveness comes the high efficiency. So efficiency I'm representing by eta over here, and this is low. So high and low and high. So this is the responsiveness. Now this line which I have drawn is representing the lowest possible cost for a given level of responsiveness. So if the level of responsiveness is this is what I want, so the corresponding cost will be somewhat here. So the company actually needs to find out what is this level, what is this frontier of efficiency or cost responsiveness frontier. This line is called cost responsiveness frontier. So this cost responsiveness frontier is and you can say you would like to, if you can actually use it to manipulate the other thing. Let's say you fix the cost. Within this cost, I can offer you this much amount of lead time or this much amount of product variety. Or if it can go other way also. If you want this much responsiveness, the cost will be this much. Okay, so that's how you use cost and responsiveness frontier to frame your supply chain strategy. Now, next we talk about step 3, which is achieving strategic fit. So, achieving strategic fit ensures that what supply chain does well is consistent with the target customers' needs. Okay, like Dell and 7-Eleven, they are good at doing this. How do they achieve the strategic fit? We had talked about 7-Eleven. So, can anyone tell that how 7-Eleven has been able to achieve this strategic fit? Okay, I give you an example of Dell, and you will have to analyze 7-Eleven case on your own. So Dell, I talk about the situation when it was offering the customized PCs. So when you are offering customized PCs, what happens to the innovation and what kind of is it high innovation or is it low innovation? You write your answers in the chat box. When you are doing customization, the what is the level of innovation, high or low? Low innovation when you are doing in customization. Okay, Karvi says low. Everyone's saying low. Is there anyone who says high innovation? Only two people have got any opinion. I want opinion from everyone, all the 21 people. When you are doing customization, when customization means uh, I want something and I want exactly like that. Let's say I go to a restaurant and I say, uh, give me a dish. उसमें मिर्ची कम होना चाहिए, नमक कम होना चाहिए, and then make it mild and make it hot and make it smoother, something like that. So, would you call that as a low innovation or high innovation for a chef who's going to prepare that dish? Will it be high innovation or low innovation for him? Yeah, Rajkumar. Why do you say it is high innovation?
Sir, by doing customization, we get the desired output from that particular thing. So I think, and it will be more usable to us. Like if, as example, I talk about like I am doing a CPU customization. So in that I can choose the like RAM of particular brand and the other things of other brands that works well, and customize them together and make a CPU that are more strong or capable enough to do things that are not being done from the other CPUs. So that will be more innovative to use the customized product.
Yeah, right. So when someone is doing a customization, he or she or they need to do they are actually looking for high innovativeness over there, because when you have to do customization, you have to find out ways of doing it in the best possible and the cheapest manner. So because of the customization, the innovativeness is high.
But
And
so
when
then
the yeah.
again, like if we are talking about the products that they are actually manufacturing,
Hmm.
the innovativeness of the products is not that much. Like, since it's customized, so the products are like there is nothing from their side the innovative that they are doing. Like the customer is telling them what their needs, and they are just providing them that. So then, like the innovativeness there is less. Like there are no new products or anything.
Okay, I ask you now, Karvi. Let's say I want you to give me suggestions to make class more interactive. Okay, so I want customization for this. Although you may not be in a very habit of interacting in the class, maybe that's how the culture is. So, so this question of mine gets you thinking, right? That how what? Give me 5 ways of making class more interactive. Okay, all of you tell me something. Write write in the chat box how can we make the class more interactive. I'm still on the point only, but I'll try to bring out that whatever argument Karvi has given. So how can I make class more interactive? Give me 5 ways. Anyone? Now nobody's saying. So that that again says that innovation is getting difficult. So so when I'm asking you that tell me some ideas with which I can make class more interactive, I'm basically asking you to tell me in what ways I can do innovation in my class. So that will be called as innovation, right? Similarly, a customer says that give me laptop like this, give me this RAM and that RAM and this graphic card and this one that one. Now it gets the manufacturer thinking that how can we fit all these things together in one product and make it cheaper also. I mean, to be competitive in the market. So that from that point of view, it is innovation. So Karvi, am I able to satisfy your argument?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once you are innovative, that means what happens to the implied demand uncertainty? Will the implied demand uncertainty go up with the innovation or go down with the innovation? Yes. Yes. Anyone? Yeah, it will go up with the innovation for the simple reason that now Dell is mostly in guessing stage where they are trying to think at what kind of order is going to come now, what innovativeness will have to show. So it goes up, right? Now, how do they handle this? How do they get the strategic fit? They understood the customer requirements, they understood the capability, what capability they have now, what capability does Dell have, supply chain capability. How they have developed this capability. So they have a network like this. This is Dell, and these are the suppliers S1, S2, S3, and this is the customer who wants. There will be direct delivery to the customer. Okay, there is no distributor or retailer. So Dell has developed these suppliers over a period of time with the contracts and confidence from the suppliers that if you give us 6 hours time, they need 6 hours time, and they'll ship the product immediately. 6 hours time means Dell places an order, and within 6 hours he gets that. Places an order for hard disk, or places an order for chipset. Okay, you'll get that in 6 hours. So Dell has strategically located his manufacturing or assembly plants at the places where he can get these suppliers also. Okay, and they have long-term commitment that the suppliers will prioritize the orders given by Dell and will do that. So here responsiveness is high. Okay, and why cost is not high? Because Dell has promised that whatever orders will be there will be coming from to you only and no one else. So this is called strategic partnership, which is Dell has developed with the suppliers, and because of that, now Dell is able to assemble all the products together. Now let's say this is the laptop which has to be assembled, and it needs 500 different parts. Until the Dell gets all these 500 different parts, we cannot make a laptop. So even 499 parts will not make a laptop. He needs all 500 all 500 parts to make the laptop. So he has to synchronize S1 to S3. And how does he synchronize that? With the strong IT infrastructure, which it has developed over a period of time and has been a leader in that. So with strong IT infrastructure, it has synchronized the deliveries of S1 to S3 such that they all reach together, or more or less the variation is the least when they reach together, when they reach at the Dell. And then he promises 15 days time from a customer. Okay, so this is called achieving a strategic fit, where the other strategies like the supplier selection strategy or supplier strategy which Dell has with the suppliers complements the strategy which it has for the customer to be responsive. And because of long-term partnerships, the suppliers are giving Dell a competitive pricing of their spare parts or the assemblies. Okay, so this is the meaning of strategic fit. Now, there are four basic manufacturing strategies that we will be discussing. So when Dell is manufacturing, or when Toyota is manufacturing, or when Ford is manufacturing, they differ with each other in several ways. So let's talk about those ways and how they differ from each other. So there are four basic manufacturing strategies. Which complement or which are part of supply chain strategy only. So the one is engineer to order, EOD, engineer to order. Another one is make to order, MTO, make to order. Another one is assemble to order, assemble to order. And the fourth one is make to stock, MTS. So EOD is engineering, engineer to order, MTO is make to order, ATO is assemble to order, and the fourth one is make to stock. Okay. So what are the processes which are there in engineer to order? So engineer to order is like making a rocket, or you're making a spaceship, or making an aeroplane even. So that is engineer to order, which goes from design to purchase to manufacturer to manufacture to assemble and to ship. So D for design, P for purchase, M for manufacture, A for assemble, and S for ship. So designing means the whole product design is made first, because you are engineered. That's called engineer to order, because you are designing it. And P is purchasing the raw material. M is manufacturing the various sub assemblies or the complete product. A is assembly. If it has multiple sub assemblies, they are joined together. And S is ship. So can you give me some examples which are engineered to order, the products which are engineered to order? Yes. I had given you some example from your day-to-day life. Anything which is engineered to order. Anyone? Okay, I'll help you. Uh, the traditional way of stitching clothes, what is that? I mean, you go to a tailor, you purchase a cloth, you go to tailor and give him the design, right? And or if you don't even purchase the cloth yourself, you go to a tailor and tell him that I want a design of this type. Okay. So he will make changes in the product design to suit, because the dimensions, the design is called design once the dimensions are there on that. So uh, he'll design it, then he'll purchase the cloth, then he'll stitch it, that is manufacturing, then he will assemble various parts of that, like shoulders and uh, all those things. So, and the pockets if he's doing that, making a shirt. So assembly, and then you ask him to deliver it to your home, so he will get it delivered. So shipping. So this is the simplest form of engineer to order, which you can say. Or let's say you there's a birthday coming up for a special person, so you design, I mean, it could be a kid, I mean, could be, or anyone. So you go to a cake guy and then tell that I want a cake with which is in shape of an Eiffel Tower or an Iron Man cake. Okay, so that is again designing, complete designing. It will require complete designing. Okay, so that will again be an engineer to order kind of product. If you look at engineering point of view, the bridges, okay, the houses mostly are engineered to order. Of course, the shipping is not there uh, in making house, but then of course bridges and civil engineering projects. So mostly project related things are engineered to order. Even the softwares, where you go to a certain company and make an ERP software for them, that will be engineered to order. Then you have made to stock or made to order. So not made to stock, made to order. So made to order means now you'll see that the processes are processes will keep on getting reduced. Made to order means when the order comes, you make it. Okay, so that's like going to a restaurant. You might have often find that there are hundreds of dishes listed in the menu. When you place an order, it comes in 5 to 10 minutes, maximum 15 minutes. So how do they achieve that? Anyone can tell me how do they achieve that?
Like
Let's say that,
the
yeah,
most of the preparation is already done, and they are expecting an order. So
yeah. So most of the preparation is already done. That means the foundation or the basic material or the gravy, the basic, there are five to six types of gravies maybe there. Italian gravy and Indian gravy, less spicy, more spicy could be done later also after. So basic raw material, the foundation raw material is already present with the chef. In the morning when they come, they prepare 7 to 8 different types of gravy. Okay, their paneer is already there on the grill most of the time. So if you go at the back end of the restaurant, you will find that not much innovation is happening there, except that the basic raw material is the same. So inventory is already there. In made to stock, inventory is already there. Then you have to manufacture it, manufacture or assemble, or both could be there in that. So in restaurant, it will be a little bit of manufacturing where you are cooking again or reheating again the gravy, or uh, so like you have the pizza is made in front of you. What inventory do they have already? Can you tell me? You go to a pizza place and you know that they are generally preparing it in front of you. So what is the inventory for pizza? Yes, Neha, you are there. You just entered the class. Raghav will ask from Raghavendra. Raghavendra? Raghavendra. Raghavendra, you are there? You just entered the class right now. Probably is not even listening. Anyway, Neha, you were about to start. So tell me, what is the raw material for pizza? Or raw material, I would say inventory for the pizza. Varun said pizza base.
सर फॉर पिज्जा, सर पिज्जा बनाने के लिए रॉ मटेरियल का पूछ रहे हैं क्या आप?
या यहाँ पे मैंने लिखा है मेड टू ऑर्डर. आप रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हैं तो आपको इन्वेंट्री पहले से मिलती है, आपको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करनी पड़ती है एंड देन असेंबली. सो इन्वेंट्री कम्स फर्स्ट व्हेन यू गो टू अ रेस्टोरेंट. सो वी टॉक अबाउट पिज्जा. सो व्हाट इज द इन्वेंट्री फॉर पिज्जा?
तो पिज्जा के लिए पिज्जा बेस, वेजिटेबल्स वगैरह वो सब चाहिए होता है.
So then you have cheese and the vegetables which are already mostly cut, and some kind of sprinkles or the toppings which are there, which are mostly prepared. So that's why made to order. So it's not like pizza pehle bana hua rakha hota hai and they give you hot and oven fresh pizza mostly. So that is made to order, make to order situation. And then shipping. So you can say typically jo Domino's karta hai, that is your they make to order. And then assemble to order. So what is the difference between making and assembling? Can anyone tell? What is the difference between making and assembling?
सर हम ऐसा कह सकते हैं, मेकिंग के अंदर जैसे वो पूरा तैयार करना होता है, बेस, वेजिटेबल्स, सॉस एंड सब कुछ डालना. एंड असेंबलिंग में ऐसे हो सकता है कि वो ओवन में डालना और जस्ट लाइक सब्जियों कटिंग करके रख लिया और फिर उसको पैक करके, उसको मतलब जो कटिंग करके रख लिया उसको टॉपिंग करके एंड सीधा ओवन डाल के पैक करना, तो वो असेंबलिंग हो जाता है.
Okay.
और सब कुछ बेस वगैरह बना के रख लेना, वो पहले मेकिंग हो जाता है।
Right. So let's say I'll fill in the boxes over here. You have to give me example कि ये कहाँ पे मिलेगा हमको. So manufacturing, सबसे पहले manufacturing होती है, then inventory होती है, then assembly होती है, and then shipping होती है.
So cars.
Yeah, assemble to order. Not all the cars. Yeah, but you can say that first manufacturing of all the sub-assemblies होती है. Car is very close example to assemble to order, but generally जो high moving products हैं, जो high moving products हैं, that means you have some models like i10, you have models like Baleno, Maruti Baleno, you have Innova. These are kind of cars which are sold on daily basis. So are you going to stock it or not? That is the situation over here. So because made to stock is also very much similar, so we have to be clear about this thing. So manufacture, assemble, then inventory, and then ship. So I give you an example of Asian Paints. Yeah, he was the pioneer in this thing. How many of you have done अपने घर की painting कितने लोगों ने करवाई है, या you have been involved in painting your house? How many of you? Karvi has done that. Anyone else? One person. Varun, Ritika, Karan. So I see some many people have done that. अपने घर की पेंटिंग कराई है. So आपने शॉप पे गए, वहां पे जाके आपने कैटलॉग देखी है?
Yes, sir.
कैटलॉग.
Yes,
तो
sir.
वो क्या करते हैं उसमें? जब कैटलॉग आपके सामने होती है तो वो बोलते हैं आप ये है, कुछ भी सेलेक्ट कर लीजिए, राइट? सो what point I want to make is कि if 5 liter cans, if they keep in their shop of every type of color, उनको कितना बड़ा ग्राउंड चाहिए होगा वो स्टोर करने के लिए, अगर एक भी करते हैं तो 5 liter कैन. अगर हर कलर का एक 5 liter कैन वो अपने पास रखते हैं तो उनको एक फुटबॉल ग्राउंड चाहिए होगा स्टोर करने के लिए. मे बी आई एम एग्जैजरेटिंग. फुटबॉल ग्राउंड नहीं तो MNIT का क्वाड्रेंगल ले लीजिए, वो तो उतना बड़ा तो चाहिए होगा. उसमें कितने कलर्स होते हैं? मे बी इन थाउजेंड्स, राइट? एंड यू कैन इजीली कैलकुलेट द वॉल्यूम एंड मेक अ कंक्लूजन. बट क्या होता है वहां पे उनके पास छोटी छोटी कलर की बॉटल्स होती हैं, एंड दे हैव वन बेसिक वाइट कलर. ओके, ये पहले नहीं होता था. लाइक व्हेन आई एम टेलिंग अबाउट द टाइम्स इन 90s ऐसा नहीं होता था. ओके, 90s में होता था कि हमारे पास ये 15 कलर हैं, आप इसमें से चूज कर लीजिए, दैट्स ऑल. ऐसे बड़ी कैटलॉग नहीं होती थी पहले. So what has changed over a period of time, which is started by actually Asian Paints, is कि वो रखते हैं white base paint. So white base paint is an inventory, okay? और फिर उसमें मिलाते हैं वो कलर एंड देन उसकी ब्लेंडिंग करते हैं सेंट्रीफ्यूज में, एंड दे गिव यू दैट. So tell me this thing, is it assembled to order and made or made to stock? Tell me this situation which I have just described you, paint वाला, कि कोई भी कलर मिलता है आपको, आप जाते हैं तो. So is it a made
Assemble
to
to
stock? हाँ,
assemble to
assembled to order, right? So manufacture क्या हो रहा है? White paint, ठीक है, उसकी इन्वेंट्री बन रही है. मैन्युफैक्चर हो रहा है कलर्स, छोटी छोटी बॉटल में जो कलर्स आ रहे हैं. 5 लीटर का कैन केवल व्हाइट पेंट है जो उसका फाउंडेशन है. सो दैट इज मैन्युफैक्चर्ड, ऑलरेडी मैन्युफैक्चर्ड, और उसकी इन्वेंट्री रिटेल शॉप में रखी है. रिटेलर के पास क्या है? एक सेंट्रीफ्यूग मशीन है, वहां पे वो ब्लेंडिंग करता है पेंट की. दैट इज इन्वेंट्री. असेंबली क्या है? पेंट को व्हाइट जो भी कलर आपको चाहिए उसको व्हाइट पेंट में मिक्स करना, दैट इज असेंबली. एंड देन सप्लाई इज दैट यू गिव इट टू हिम. सो दैट इज योर असेंबल टू ऑर्डर. मेड टू स्टॉक क्या है कि 90s का बात है, जब ये ब्लेंडिंग वाली मशीन नहीं थी, मैन्युफैक्चरर हुए 15 पेंट, ओके, और असेंबल भी हो चुके हैं। असेंबल मीन्स आपके पास वो 15 डिफरेंट कलर के पेंट्स आके और वहां आपकी शॉप में रखे हैं, तो वो इन्वेंट्री बन गई एंड देन यू सप्लाई इट। ओके, नाउ टॉक अबाउट ऑटोमोबाइल। ऑटोमोबाइल में हमको दोनों सिचुएशन मिलती है। जो हाई मूविंग प्रोडक्ट्स हैं वो किस में जाएंगे, जो फास्ट मूविंग प्रोडक्ट्स हैं या फास्ट मूविंग मॉडल्स हैं, दे विल बी असेंबल टू ऑर्डर और मेड टू स्टॉक।
मेड टू स्टॉक।
मेड टू स्टॉक बिकॉज ये हाई मूविंग है, ठीक है, तो इनको आप बना के और स्टॉक कर दो इन्वेंट्री में, वो एक रेगुलर स्ट्रीम में परचेज होते चले जाएंगे। नाउ वी टॉक अबाउट असेंबल टू ऑर्डर। असेंबल टू ऑर्डर कौन सी कार्स होती हैं, कोई बता सकता है?
लो डिमांड हाई प्राइस कार्स।
लो डिमांड हाई प्राइस कार्स और हाई वैल्यूड कार्स लाइक मर्सिडीज, BMWs या एस्टन मार्टिन की कार्स हो गई, या फिर आप बोल लीजिए इवन हार्ले डेविडसन में भी इस तरीके की होती हैं, जहाँ पे कुछ मॉडल्स हाई मूविंग होते हैं जो लो प्राइस्ड होते हैं, और कुछ ऐसे मॉडल्स होते हैं जो हाई प्राइस्ड होते हैं, वो आप पहले से बना के इन्वेंट्री में रख नहीं सकते हैं, बट उसके कंपोनेंट्स आप रख सकते हैं। ओके, सो दोज आर असेंबल टू ऑर्डर। ओके, luxury cars, right? So this now what happens, and this is the delivery time, you can say. So engineer to order में सबसे ज्यादा टाइम लगता है डिलीवरी टाइम, देन मेक टू ऑर्डर में उसके बाद डिलीवरी टाइम। आई मीन यहाँ पे मैंने I did not show it up to scale, but you can say delivery time goes on reducing as we go from top to bottom. सबसे ज्यादा टाइम इंजीनियर टू ऑर्डर में लगता है, दैट इज लीड टाइम, यू कैन से। मेक टू ऑर्डर में उसके बाद, देन असेंबल टू ऑर्डर में उसके बाद, एंड बिकॉज मेड टू स्टॉक इज ऑलरेडी रेडी, इज जस्ट रेडी टू बी शिप्ड, सो सबसे कम टाइम मेक टू स्टॉक में लगता है। मेड टू स्टॉक या मेक टू स्टॉक कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं। सो can you tell me now what is the significance of these strategies in supply chain strategy, in making supply chain strategy? किस तरीके से आप मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं ये अफेक्ट करता है आपकी सप्लाई चेन स्ट्रेटजी को। बेसिकली माय टू सप्लाई चेन, देयर आर प्योर ओनली टू प्योर सप्लाई चेन स्ट्रेटजीज, बाकी सब बीच में मिक्स्ड है, दैट इज efficiency and responsive. If you want to be supply chain to be efficient, or you want your supply chain to be responsive, so दो ही हैं इसके। so if you have to be if you have to be efficient, कौन सी टाइप की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्ट्रेटजी सूट करती है for an efficient supply chain strategy? बताइए, which type of manufacturing strategy is most suitable for most efficient supply chain? So efficiency be related with the cost, तो बताइए। Give your answer, all of you. Your answer should be MTS, ATO, MTO or EOD. So we can see here made to stock में सबसे कम कॉस्ट आएगी क्योंकि आपने मास प्रोड्यूस करके इन्वेंट्री डाली है, बट द ओनली कंडीशन इज दैट दे शुड बी क्विकली मूविंग, द इन्वेंट्री टर्नओवर शुड बी हाई, मतलब तेजी से जो आप स्टॉक, जितनी तेजी से आप स्टॉक कर रहे हैं उतनी ही तेजी से वो डिमांड भी होनी चाहिए, डिमांड रेट वैसी होनी चाहिए। सो मेड टू स्टॉक strategy is very much complementary to uh, supply chain strategy, which is efficiency. And the other extreme is engineer to order, which is very much responsive to customer needs. Whatever customer wants, you make it like that, you design it like that. Okay, so these are two extremes, and in between is MTO and ATO. So we'll continue our talk. Mostly we are done with chapter 2, and yeah, anyone?
About MTS and EUD, like
Hmm.
if we consider it like that, if we are making to stock, then in that case there might be a lot of wastage. Like if the demand is not up to our manufacturing or
That's why
inventory.
I said no, with the condition that your product should be high moving and the inventory turnover should be high.
And then, sir, in reverse, that case also, like EOD could be more efficient because it is only making the required, like spending the money on the required amount and everything everywhere.
No, but then the delivery time is very high. So responsiveness goes. I mean, I I hope you understanding the dilemma over here. If you are thinking from efficiency point of view, then the economies of scale comes into play. So if you make only one, are you getting it?
Yes, similar. Even I was only saying that EOD, the responsiveness is supposed to be low, but for
Responsiveness here is said to be from the point of view of customer needs. So customer needs or what he wants. If it's simply the delivery that he wants, then probably engineer to order is not what he is looking for. So only for delivery you can say that responsiveness is not good for engineer to order. But if you talk about customer requirements, except delivery, okay, customized. We are talking in terms of customization. Engineer to order is means you are customizing the product or making it specially for that person.
okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, there was one request from students that
Mhm.
the surprise quiz that you are taking, is it possible that you could maybe tell us a day ahead or maybe like an hour